The Pontiac School District Board of Education. Time now is 6:39 p.m. We have a great meeting ahead of us. If you're tuning in online, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure that you share the information that you see here. We have some wonderful awards and recognitions that's going to take place in this meeting, and we'll like to get that information out to the greater and larger Pontiac community, and we can only do that if you share it at this particular point in time. So thank you so much for tuning in online, and welcome again for those who are in the audience today. Madam Secretary Dr. Hannah, can you please take roll call?
Yep. Trustee Bowman?
Present.
Trustee Kraft?
Present.
Trustee Davis-Smith?
Yes.
President Garrett?
Yes.
VP Gross?
Present.
I am here, and Treasurer Terry.
Present.
Quorum 7-0.
Man, I don't care because there's a room full of people in here, man. Get him. Can we stand for a pledge of allegiance, please? Oh, I'm sorry. If we can allow ROTC to come in, I'm sorry. If you take a seat, you can take a seat.
Mark time. Mark. Mark time. Mark. Left. Face. Present. Arms.
Thank you. Now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
All right, give me a round of applause, please. I think we have still one of the last standing ROTC programs in Oakland County, correct? Yeah. So, those young men and women do a great job for us every meeting, so appreciate that. Need a motion on the floor to approve the agenda.
So move.
Moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Davis-Smith. Well, we good. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
Trustee Davis-Smith?
Yes.
President Garrett?
Yes.
VP Gross?
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry?
Yes.
And Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move down to awards and recognition. Dr. Leverett, meeting's yours.
Thank you. Testing. Thank you, President Garrett. Good evening, everyone. At this time, this is an exciting time on our agenda as we represent the wheels on the bus go round and round, and transportation for our students to and from school is so important, and our drivers do a great job. And this evening, the certificate of distinction is proudly presented to Gwendolyn Lee in recognition of her performance as a bus driver serving Pontiac School District for more than 30 years. We are grateful to her dedication. We are grateful to her dedication, outstanding attendance, and unwavering commitment to ensuring our students are transported to school safely and effectively daily. Ms. Gwendolyn Lee, we thank you. This next certificate of distinction is proudly presented to Joshua Brown in recognition of his performance as a bus driver serving Pontiac School District for the past 4 years. We are grateful to you for your dedication, outstanding attendance, and unwavering commitment to ensuring our students are transported to school safely and effectively. Congratulations, Mr. Joshua Brown. School District of the City of Pontiac Board of Education Resolution honoring the Omicron Alpha Alpha Alumni Chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. Whereas the School District of the City of Pontiac has been privileged to have many outstanding philanthropic organizations and individuals give their time, talents, and resources in support of the students and community of the Pontiac School District over the years. Whereas Omega Psi Phi is the first international fraternal organization founded on the campus of a historical Black university. The Omicron Alpha Alpha Alumni Chapter was chartered in Pontiac, Michigan in 1980. Whereas over the past several decades, the Brothers of the Fraternity have actively supported the Pontiac School District through multiple forms of outreach, including volunteerism, leadership, mentorship, and donations. Whereas they have demonstrated key positive influence, guidance, and mentorship to students through Suits for Success and classroom engagement at our schools. Whereas the fraternity has come together to provide support for students by cheering them on at back-to-school clap-ins and sporting events. Whereas they have provided food, fellowship, and support at our annual Trunk or Treat Pontiac High School Thanksgiving meal program and end-of-year cookouts. Resolved, the Board of Education for the School District of the City of Pontiac hereby celebrates its partnership with the Omega Psi Phi Omicron Alpha Alpha Fraternity and its philanthropic support of our district, students, staff, and community. Resolved that we extend our appreciation to the fraternity brothers and the positive impact they have had on our students. Resolved, the Board of Education expresses our deepest gratitude for their service to our community and to the thousands of people whose lives they have enriched. Sincerely, Gil Garrett, President; G. Kevin Gross, Vice President; Anisha Hanna, Secretary; Marcus Terry, Treasurer; Kenyatta Bowman, Trustee; Troy Craft, Trustee; Shaquana Davis Smith, Trustee. Adopted on this June 3rd, 2024.
Before I bring these brothers up, thank you. I am a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Omicron Alpha Alpha, since 1997. And as a school board member in the past and today, I've seen what we have done as a chapter here. I appreciate the hard work and dedication that these brothers have been involved in, and it's not stopping. It will continue. One of my dream goals, that as long as the Omicron Alpha Alpha chapter is in Pontiac, we will have a partnership and relationship with the Pontiac School District, because the only way that we can make young boys into Omega men is to be involved in their lives. And these men have truly done so. Tonight, we bring our Basilis, Emil Abner, Brother Darnell Payne, Pastor Coley Gracie, and Brother John Williams, and my other brother. And they're also partners of the Pontiac School District. They work in the school district. And I want to thank them for their hard work and dedication. And lastly, we have recently received some laptops in our house. We're the only house in Oakland County in Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. And we're going to be opening up a after-school program with our laptops, working with our children and their parents to ensure that they keep up on what's going on in our district. I appreciate them being here. I appreciate the board for recognizing them, and thank you, Dr. Leverett, for getting this plaque out to us. And I want to say thank you. Omega style.
He wearing red today.
You got the right color.
Sometimes you gotta do stuff on old people. Having the same moment.
Thank you, Bob. shirt.
Okay, any other comments from the board? No?
I'm right here.
Okay, I think it's right.
I'd like to thank you, you men, you gentlemen, for all you do for our students and what you do in the community. And it's an awesome thing. I've watched capitals all over the country, and I see the community service that you get back. And it's always you get lost in that little narrative that we. No, I'm sorry. Omegas. All right, I'm sorry. All right.
About to get beat up outside.
But I think it is very important. I think it's very important because the narrative get passed on and all you guys do is just party. But this really changes that. And I'm sorry. Just like I said, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Go ahead, Trustee Terry.
I just want to say congratulations to everyone here for all your dedication and your work you put towards the kids and everything that you do. I'm sure it's appreciated. This is just a small little token of acknowledgement that you are out there, you are being active, you putting in the years, was it 30 plus years, getting close to that retirement phase. So once again, thank you for all your hard work and appreciate it and keep up the good work. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Trustee Hannah.
Yeah, again, to Ms. Ms. Lee and Mr. Brown, thank you for your dedication to our school district and serving and working in the capacity that you did. And also to the men of Omega Psi Phi. We really do appreciate your commitment and service to our school.
Okay. All right, again, this goes without notice. You guys work hard every single day. You see the students, you're in there with them. A lot of times is that connection for me that you guys have that really lend an expertise in places that you're you right there, right? Like you hands on. I have to do a survey. I can just either go right to one of you and ask you, okay, what does it look like? What is the temperature? How are we moving in a particular district? And so surveys are good, but it's even better when you have men and women working in your schools directly. And so, teachers have their point of view, principals have their point of view, but there's individuals who, serve on a regular basis as well. They also have a point of view. So just thank you for being that reference point and just what you're doing in the community. And just keep up the good work. That's it. Just keep going. At this particular point in time, we're going to move to recognition of elected officials. Any other elected officials in the audience? Okay, but I have 6 trustees here. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Going to move down to consent agenda. Can a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda, please?
Some support.
Moved by Trustee David Smith, supported by Trustee Bowman. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Trustee David Smith. President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
And Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay.
7-0.
Awesome, thank you. Going to move down to information from the superintendent and administration. And Dr. Leverett, the meeting's yours.
Thank you, President Garrett. At this time, I would like to recognize the members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And call up my soror, Madam President Wiggins, who will share some highlights and information from
My
our
sisters.
illustrious sorority. Madam President, please.
Thanks, Doc.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Greetings to the esteemed interim school board superintendent. As she mentioned, our sorority sister, Dr. Kimberly Leverett, the assistant superintendent, Yolanda Kellum, the wonderful assistant to the superintendent, Cynthia Wright, President Gil Garrett, Vice President Kevin Gross, all the trustees, as well as our attorney. I didn't forget about you. My name is Sanjia Wiggins, and I have the pleasure of serving as the president of the proud and prestigious Pontiac Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And it's 210 members, and some are here today. Can you all please stand? Thank you. We bring you greetings to all of the wonderful teachers and family and friends that are here this evening as well. Our organization has over 350,000 members with over 750 chapters throughout the country and globally, and supports the notion that all students should have equal access to high quality education, regardless of their background or circumstances. We believe students should have access to the same resources and opportunities regardless of our race, ethnicity, economic status, and everything else that comes along with it. Education is one of Delta's advocacy focuses, and we meet annually at Delta Days at the state capitol, Delta Days at the nation's capital, and even Delta Days at the United Nations to advocate for our legislature for investments in school infrastructure and resource equity, reduction of segregation in our schools, universal pre-K, Black history to remain in the school curriculums, and the unfounded tax on critical race theory, and more. The Pontiac Alumni Chapter is here to share our youth programs and request support for Pontiac students' engagement. We also offer our support to the school district initiatives, and we promise to be here more present in the future. We recognize the vital role that the school board plays in shaping the educational landscape of our community. Your dedication and commitment to fostering excellence in education are commendable and greatly appreciated. So a round of applause to you as well. We currently have 3 youth programs and are proud to say that each of our programs have students from this school district. All right. Yes. Our Dr. Betty Shabazz Delta Academy is anchored with the basic tenets of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which are sisterhood, scholarship, and service. Delta Academy, which is for grades ages 11 through 14, promotes social skills development in group settings and expands the young ladies' talents, which builds self-esteem and leadership skills. And our Delta Gems program is for ladies grades 9 through 11 and offer a roadmap to college and career planning through activities that provide opportunities for self-reflection and individual growth. Our last youth program is our Salute to Young Heroes, which will have an event this Sunday, commercial break, this Sunday at the Marriott. So if you are interested, check us out on PontiacDeltas.com. This program is for 11th and 12th grade young men, which focuses on providing mentoring, leadership development, and supports the community. We are grateful for the students in this district who are a part of our programs, and we look forward to adding many more to our programs. Thank you for your tireless efforts and dedication and service to the students and families of this community. Please help yourself to refreshments after the meeting is over. We are happy to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. Thank you so very much, and have a wonderful meeting.
Any comments from the board?
Just one.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies. It's an honor to be here in this room with you all, and thank you for what you do. And for you to make yourselves amenable and approachable to this district to do what you do, that's well appreciated. Thank you. And I truly believe that if we continue to work together, we will see our children succeed further than what our expectations are. We know what expected to be done, but what our expectations are. And if we can continue to work together, these men here, this district, and you, there's no limit. And we appreciate your presence. And you lit up the room anyway, so we thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other comments from the board? Go ahead, madam.
Good evening, my Delta sisters We know it takes a village to raise the children, and we totally appreciate the support that you offer to our school district, just as we were thanking the men of Omega Psi Phi. But it's very important that our students, especially our young men at the With Your Salute to Young Heroes event, has this type of outlet, and they have the support that you guys offer. So we thank you for your commitment, and we appreciate your continued support.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Trustee Terry.
Good evening, ladies. It's always good to see you guys. And you travel in numbers. But I just want to say thanks for the information. Appreciate everything that you do for the students, all the activities that you do in the schools and outside of schools. Your presence is always there, and you are known, and that's throughout the world. So continue to do what you do, continue to support these kids, continue to lead them in the right directions, being those ladies for the young ladies can see and be examples, just wonderful things that you do. So thank you again, and we appreciate you for being here. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. As usual, I see Dr. Jameson. I didn't know that I know. Hey, Ms. V. And so, just thank you for everything you do. I think the board have said it all, and I thank you for your continued support in what you do, not just in our district, but throughout the community. We do look at every student that resides in Pontiac and therefore have roots in Pontiac as all of our students, no matter what school district they attend in this particular city. They all belong to us. And so thank you for doing a good job for always pulling together and pulling your resources together to make sure that we have the best of the best in front of them. And so at this particular point in time, it is 7:01. We normally take a 5-minute recess because many of you have been here at the start of this, but then also your workday starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. And so for those who want to leave at this particular time, we'll give you a 5-minute recess so we can kind of change over and then get into the regular working business of the Pontiac School District. So we will be adjourned into 7:06 p.m. Thank you. All right, thank you. Frank, I need volume. I just need volume. I just need the mic. I need the mic on. All right, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all. The time now is 7:07 p.m. We're going to now start the regular working session of the Pontiac School District Board meeting as soon as Mr. Frank gives me the thumbs up to get started. Okay, thank you. Again, welcome back to the regular working meeting of the Pontiac School District. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe all the wonderful news that we have going on in the Pontiac School District. Thank you so much for doing so. You have increased our following to over 1,500 for a regular working board meeting for the Pontiac School District, and I would actually think during the pandemic, that's a little bit more than average. So thank you, social media, and to everyone else who is tuning in. Please comment, rather just be cordial and very respectful. I still read the comments. And just making sure that we're getting all the information out that we need to share out throughout the greater Pontiac community. So thank you for coming back to the regular board meeting. We are now moving into the discussion item 2024-2025 MHSAA membership resolution, and I'm not sure who's, Doc, that's you.
Thank you, President Garrett. This item is for discussion and action. As you stated, the 2024-25 MHSAA annual membership resolution. Background rationale: membership resolution for the year August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2025. Junior high, middle, and senior high schools of your school system, which are to be listed as MHSAA members and receive MHSAA mailings during the 24-25 school year are Pontiac High School and Pontiac Middle School. Enrolled as members of the Michigan High School Athletic Association Incorporation, a nonprofit association, and are further enrolled to participate in the approved inter-athletic activities sponsored by said association. Funding source NA. Recommendation is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the 2024-2025 MHSAA annual membership resolution for the period of August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2025.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Leverett. Any questions, comments, concerns about the membership for resolution? Okay, this is pretty much standard around this particular point in time, and this is what our students need to be eligible for scholarships for at the collegiate level. So we're good. Okay, we're going to move down to action item, approval of the 2024-2025 MHSAA membership resolution. Need a motion, please.
So
Moved by Trustee Gross, supported by Trustee Terry. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call, please.
President Garrett,
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, awesome, thank you. We're going to move down to board discussions, and it was just a discussion item on board resolutions. We talked about it briefly under the Board of Education. We talked about a couple of resolutions that we wanted to bring forth about making this a trauma-informed, supporting the trauma-informed district resolution, and then also there was a CTE resolution, but we talked about that previously, that CTE partnership with NAF resolution. We passed and I looked at it, so both of them were pretty much the same. We'll have a continued discussion about those two specifically and about how we will spend the additional bond dollars, how we're going to, how we will continue to look at how we're spending the bond dollars and what current projects that we're working on, and then look at those other projects that we need to work on and figure out which one is the priority moving forward before we think about going after another bond. So that's all I wanted to say about that, and then we'll talk about it in board governance to drill down a little bit more about the resolutions. And there are probably two more resolutions coming forth too around the bond and ESSER, so we can make sure that it's documented about how the work and how we're moving forward with the work. Okay, any questions, comments, or concerns around that?
Great idea.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. We're going to move down to general counsel. No, it wasn't, I have any approvals of the resolution. No, I didn't, I'm sorry. We're going to move down to finance items. If we can all keep Mr. Pete in our prayers. He has suddenly fell ill, and so he's not with us this evening. So if you can keep him in your prayers, I appreciate that. And then move down to general counsel, human resources reports. We're going to move down to discussion item. The first one is EduStaff LLC contract renewal. Ms. Kelly. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
This is a discussion and action item, contract renewal for EduStaff LLC. EduStaff LLC is a staffing company that is able to provide qualified staff to backfill long-term vacant teaching positions throughout the school buildings, which we are unable to fill with permanent employees. We will utilize them to fill vacancies to ensure positions that cannot be filled by our other contractor EduStaff will be filled on a long-term basis. The funding source is following the teacher's account salary line. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education discuss and approve the 3-year service agreement between EduStaff LLC and the Pontiac School District for contracted services for substitute teaching, math and literacy, and content coaches, effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2027. Expensed amount for 2023 was $2,131,060.42. Forecasting to expense at a 10% increase for employee payroll taxes.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, so we said it was a 3-year contract, but that was negotiated at the term when we first brought them in.
Yes.
Was that from EduStaff, or was that from the district?
It was from EduStaff.
To keep it a 3 year?
They requested 3 years, yes.
Okay. And this, with this particular contract, approving this particular contract, does not move our long-term subs that we have in-house
No,
to
sir.
EduStaff?
No, they're remaining in, our in-house, long-term subs will remain in-house.
In-house?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Good question. All right. All right, that's what all I have. So if we can move down to approval of the industry-specific solutions contract renewal, and I think that's you, Ms. Keller.
Thank you. This is also another discussion and action item, contract renewal for Industry-Specific Solutions. Industry-Specific Solutions is a staffing company that's able to provide qualified staff to backfill long-term vacant teaching positions throughout the school buildings, which we are unable to fill with permanent employees. We will utilize them to fill vacancies to ensure positions that cannot be filled by EduStaff to be filled on a long-term basis. The funding sources are below. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education discuss the approval of professional services contract renewal agreement with Industry-Specific Solutions in the Pontiac School District effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025. Expensed amount for 23-24 was $301,109.55.
Okay, so was this I'm sorry, gotta go last. Any questions, comments from the board?
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Just to jog my memory, is this the one where we said that they haven't been as effective as some of the other ones?
Yes, we only have 4 employees with this company.
Okay.
Opposed to EduStaff, we have over 30.
Any other questions?
Yep, yes.
Go ahead.
I was asked about this. With renewing these contracts with these companies allows us the opportunity to receive subs throughout. Instead of having our own subs here, they will go out and find subs for us.
Yes, that's part of the contract.
And throughout the state, correct?
Yes, they're vetted through the company, and they send us to us already ready to onboard and start working.
I just need the people to understand the necessity of this, because they do the vetting, and they're able to go out to areas that we have not or could or do not, to bring in substitutes to help us, because there is a need of substitute teachers throughout the state and the nation.
Correct. And so these same companies that I'm going to be presenting tonight, we're not the only
That's correct.
school district that's using them.
That is correct.
So yes, we are competing against other school districts for these subs. But the ones that we have that are long-term have been with us for several years.
Right. But lastly, it's our hope that we're able to receive certified teachers
Correct.
to eliminate the fact of having to go out to get long-term or short-term subs.
Yes, and the positions that are being staffed with long-term subs, those positions are still on our consortium
That's
as
correct.
positions that we're interviewing and looking to hire for.
Looking to
So
hire.
once we find a certified teacher in a particular area, we just move the sub into another vacancy.
That's correct. All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, is it any reason why we can't move the 4 employees over to EduSav?
We can't make that decision. That's the employee's decision to make if they decide where they want to go work, if they want to work for ISS or EduStaff. I believe their contracts end June 30th, and then they can make a decision if they want to go and get hired through EduStaff. We just cannot say, hey, you need to go work for EduStaff. But if we don't renew this contract, more than likely they will try to go and get hired through EduStaff because we won't be able to utilize them for next school year or for summer school.
Okay, totally understand. Okay, thank you.
So the
Do I
next-
move down? I'm sorry. Pediatric health consultant contract, I think that's yours as well.
Thank you. So the next contract is also for discussion and action, contract renewal for pediatric health consultants. The purpose for this contract is to provide services for occupational, OT, and speech and therapy, ST services to students with disabilities as specified by their individual education plan, IEP. Federal and state regulations require that OT and ST be provided to students as stipulated in their IEPs. This contract will ensure the continuation for such students who qualify for these services from July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025. This contract does not have a price increase for hourly employees being employed by this company for the 23-24 as well as the 24-25 school year. The funding source is below. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the professional services contract renewal agreement with pediatric health consultants and the Pontiac School District effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025. Expense amount for the 23-24 school year was $400,000.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank God for public services. So we can move down. Any questions, comments, concerns about that contract? Go ahead,
Wanna
Trustee
go-
Bowman.
I just have one quick on the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't approve the other applicant, how would that affect
Oh, I'm sorry.
summer?
So we stay in order. Is it about this one or the proof? Because I can
The
get you
previous
on.
one.
I'll get you on questions, comments, or concerns. I'll come back to you on.
Okay.
Okay, because we're doing them individually. So I'll get you. But anyone on this one, contract renewal, pediatric services. Okay? No? All right. Thank you. I think you have the next one.
Yes, this is a discussion and action item for contract renewal for Prime Healthcare staffing for professional services. Background rationale, the purpose for this contract is to provide services for physical therapy, speech and language pathology, occupational therapy, services to students with disabilities as specified by their individual education plan, IEP. Federal and state regulations require that services be provided to students as stipulated in their IEPs. This contract will ensure the continuation for students who qualify for these services from July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025. There are price increases as follows. So if you will see for 23-24 for speech language pathologists, the amounts were 68 to 74. Price increase for 24-25 went up $8. Occupational therapists went up $3, and physical therapists went up $1. Funding sources are below. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Education approve the professional services contract renewal agreement with Prime Healthcare Staffing in the Pontiac School District effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025. Expense amount for 23-24 was $150,000.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Go ahead, Trustee Bowman.
On the previous, do I need to still stay on this one? This one?
Yes, this one.
Okay, then no, yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. All right. So any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay. the contract amount used to the expense of $150,000. We're trying to eliminate that kind of up to mark,
Yes.
that kind of space. So is that pretty much what we spent last year, or?
That's for this school year, for 23-24. So yep, I took off the up to amount and just put down the amount that we actually expense for them for this school year, keeping in mind that we still have a couple of weeks left in the 23-24 school year, but that's the amount up to date, today's date that we have expensed so far.
So going into next year then, would it be because they have increased, was that 150,000, are they at like 120 or 130 or something right now?
Yes, they're at 130,000 right now.
So 20, okay, so that 150 was just, we budgeted correctly.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get to. All right, thank you. That makes sense to me. Okay. Okay, we're going to get to the action items. Approval of EduStaff LLC contract renewal. Need a motion on the floor.
So move.
Moved by trustee Gross.
Support.
Supported by trustee David Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns to the EduStaff? Okay. Hearing none, roll call.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee David Smith. Yes. And President Garrett.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Going to move down to approval of the industry-specific solutions contract. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Trustee Bowman.
So if for any reason this contract isn't approved, how does this affect summer school?
We only have 4 long-term subs that's going to be working in this program, so we'll just make some accommodations for those classrooms. I don't know what classrooms those are. I can get that information back to you, but we just have to make accommodations for
But
the
those
4.
4 subs are predicted to work
Yes.
in summer school? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't want to say that publicly yet. No, we'll wait till
Okay.
we go.
All right,
You got a handle on it, I trust that.
Yes.
Thank you. And I'll leave it at that.
okay. I'm always, whenever I'm opposing, any other questions, comments, or concerns, I'm always going last, so I don't want to, because I will not give you a point of privilege. I understand what I'm saying. You good? Okay, so any contract that comes before us, you have to do your due diligence in looking into it, and we did. Thank you for allowing us to table this for a couple of months, or about a month or so, and being patient with that. And doing the research of this particular one that was before us, it was brought in to be a complete competition to EduStaff. And this is not a national organization. This is not an organization that we feel that that can really service us the way that we need to. We looked over it. I looked at the last 6, I think we had them for 6 years. I'm sorry, because it started the pandemic. And we never went over 5 employees. So they're not even recruiting. And then we also had a leverage or an expense into our budget to up to $1 million. So when you put that into the budget to up to $1 million, there was $700,000 that was just kind of like there, that kind of rolls over into this imaginary fund, if you will. If you're doing budgeting and you say we have so much left over, then it goes into your fund balance if you don't spend that space. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't really get into the budgeting pieces of that. And so I have a difficult time passing something for this amount or even up to $1 million. And so I will not be voting in approval of this particular contract for that particular reason. Just me and how I like to vote, and me being an elected official, I like to state why I don't like something publicly and transparently. So that being said, Madam Secretary, roll call.
I'm voting no.
No, it was motioned by,
We didn't motion.
oh, I'm sorry. Need a motion on the floor to approve this contract.
Which one is this?
This is the
ISS.
ISS. Industry-specific solutions contract. Moved by trustee Gross,
Support.
supported by trustee Kraft. Questions, comments, or concerns? I did put a motion on the floor. Oh, You know I'm pulling the tape. You know I'm pulling the tape. Roll call.
I'm
You
voting
know I'm
no.
pulling that tape.
I'm voting no. Treasurer Terry.
No.
Trustee Bowman.
No.
Trustee
No.
Kraft.
No.
Trustee Davis Smith. President Garrett.
No.
And VP Gross.
No.
Okay, thank you. Motion on the floor to approve the pediatric health consultants contract.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Gross,
Support?
supported by trustee Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns? Now, where Dr. Jacobson go? So, so with the special ed, these are services we have to provide, correct?
Yes,
Am I correct in
we
saying
do.
that?
Or
Okay.
we must be in order to remain in compliance, we must have these services for our students.
And because we're still underfunded by the state of Michigan, according to SPED, we still have to make sure that we have these type of contracts in place to make sure that we get, or at least attempt to get, folks to come in to do this work. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, pediatric health consultants contracts, not my first time seeing them. I've seen some work in them in other districts. How long have we used them? That's just it. If you know offhand. I know it's been over.
I think I sent it to you in email, but I think we've had them since 2014.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was before pandemic. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much. That's what I was trying to figure out. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Roll call.
You so bad.
Treasurer Terry.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith. Yes. President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
And I'm voting yes.
Okay. Thank you. Going to move down to approval of Prime Health Staffing for Professional Service Contract. Need a motion on the floor, please.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Gross, supported by trustee Davis Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns? And again, probably been here since 2014, I believe,
Yes,
a little longer.
a little bit longer.
Okay. So, let's just have this conversation, right? The contractors are able to find people. Why aren't the districts able to? You know what I mean? Like, why? Some of the folks and some of these faces that I've seen, I'm telling you, I would think they were Pontiac School District employees until I found out otherwise. And I'm like, I can't really ask them why they didn't make the switch, but why, well, in your professional opinion, why you don't think folks who are in special education kind of make that switch to a permanent space?
Because I can be very transparent.
Yeah.
The contracting companies are able to hire at astronomical amounts of hourly rates. As you saw in one, it says $68 an hour,
Yeah.
$72 an hour. We can't hire at that rate because these positions, the permanent positions, are within the PEA union. So we have to hire these individuals based upon the salary table and salary schedule for PEA's contract, and these positions are under the PEA union.
So it has to be okay. So, because we're not allowed to have this kind of conversation across the table, that was an answer. I appreciate it. So, roll call, Madam Secretary.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith. Yes. President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes, and Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. We're going to move down to operations, discussion items, relocation for Rogers to Owen and relocation from Harrington to Elcott for the 2024-2025 school year. Our interim facilities director, Marvin Beasley, and our facility manager and owners rep, Mr. Anthony Allen, will be here to discuss that particular option. So, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Superintendent, Board of Trustees.
Okay, is that Michael?
Mike, can you hear me now?
Okay. Can you turn him up a little bit? Because I don't know if you can. Okay. They're a little nervous. After board, we had a long board retreat last
Sorry about that. Good evening, Superintendent, Board of Trustees.
Okay.
So we're coming to you tonight with the agenda to move Rogers to Owen and Harrington to Alcott. On the rationale behind that, so we're based on the recommendations, so we can get the jobs completed for both schools at Harrington and Rogers. We can make a complete product of getting the schools relocated and getting it completely done within a year. So we're asking you guys to give us permission to go ahead and get those schools relocated so we can give you a finished product of both buildings.
Okay. All right, so we've had a very healthy discussion around relocation, and actually it's really surrounded around the bond, so learning from our mistakes. But Trustee Bowman, go ahead.
Is this for the full academic year or partial or?
The full year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? You done, Trustee Bowman? Okay, Trustee Terry.
I noticed you got option number 3. I'm assuming there was 2 other options out there, but just to confirm, the consideration of transportation, lunch, staffing, all of that has been considered, and this is probably the best option right now that we have.
This is the best option. We looked at all 3 options. We looked at the other 2. It was try to do the work in phases. It would have been very difficult and hard to complete these projects in a timely manner to get the product we need to get the schools completed the way we should get them done. Option 3 gave us the best option to go ahead and move the schools completely out so we can get all the work done at one time.
Okay. And then do we have a contingency plan in case these projects are not completed in the 1 year, or will that be evaluated as the project moves along?
We'll look at it as it goes, but we're very confident that we will get these buildings completed within the year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hannah.
Should this be approved, communicating this to the parents, will this communication take place hopefully in the summertime or before school gets out, if this go in place, as opposed to later in the summer?
Meeting with our team, we prefer that this communication will go out before school gets out, so the parents are aware of the change.
Yeah. Okay. Trustee David Smith, go ahead.
So, have you guys thought of logistics for the students, bus routes and stuff? Have you guys contacted?
Yes, we've involved Ty and Dixon in this whole process, the superintendent, HR. We've all met and discussed this several times on the best option for our district, for our kids.
And also, have they discussed like the evening, like the students' cafeteria time, like, because it'd be extra kids, so will it hold them, or you guys done already discussed, the way you gonna do the setup for lunches and breakfast?
Conversation's been discussed about this already because we actually done this before with ILA and Alcott before, and we had 2 different times of the eating periods, and also what time the kids came to school to make sure. We actually created 2 entryways at the time that we did that for both schools.
Okay.
So we ran them in separate buildings, but in the same building.
Real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say, they've already talked about the transportation, so thank you. Made my life easier.
You're welcome.
I need to say this to the community. In the past, at the start of the bond, we decided to make some moves to move our children around. This pertains to, the prior board, before this board. And some things weren't done correctly. You don't put middle school kids in with high school kids. You don't put elementary school kids in with middle school kids or high school kids. So we've been discussing this, and I say the president and I have been meeting with the Facilities and Finance Committee for the last 2-3 months, discussing this to see what's better for our children. And the decision is to place elementary school children with elementary school children. Whether they're from different schools or not, they're still same age range, and they'll be able to function together and learn together. Again, it's just a year. And this gives us the opportunity to actually get something completed instead of in phases. The entire building's going to be complete. And I'm a true believer as one single board member. And had you come over to the middle school to see the faces of the children when they were able to see the changes in the school, the improvements in the school, the delightfulness on their face because of where they're coming from made a difference to me, because this is for them. So when our children return back to their original school, they'll be able to see all of the changes and knowing that this was done for them. That's highly important because, listen, children love new stuff. I know when I was a kid, I did. Even if it was just a new chair, it was my new chair. And so these are the reasons why we're looking at getting this done, because we have to do it. We're not attempting to take away their teachers who they're familiar with, nor their principal. That is not proposed. Everyone will move together. They'll still work together, and just in a different building for a short period of time, compared to, and I know there were some frustrated middle school teachers and principals when they kept putting off the deadline dates, changing the dates of when completion was. Well, this is a process that we're not doing. So we learn from, I can't say we learn from errors. And we're moving forward, and we want to make sure that our children have the best because they deserve the best. And that's where we stand. And I just want to make that clear. And please, things get out, and I'll say this lastly. No, we are not closing their schools. That's the first thing we'll start reading. Then we'll get text messages, Facebook. You see the board members are closing the school. They didn't say it like that. The board members are closing the schools. So no, we're not closing schools. I'll reiterate. We're not closing schools. Thank you, sir.
Whew, hey, I'm glad you said it. Same time, I seem like I say something more. So, again, we're not closing schools. But we are expecting, at least me, as an individual board member, what I am expecting to happen is the nucleus or the great things that each team or each school brings to each other that is shared. Like so I've been working in this district 23 years, right? So being on the board and working in the district 23 years. So it's not really too much. You can't talk to me about culture and climate. I've been there, done that. That's why I came back to the board. And so what I do want to happen is that folks begin to take an opportunity to see what we have to offer in a sense, and then try to come back with, because we're going to come back with we really want to have a conversation afterwards this year to say that what does a full building really look like? Like, what is really a full building of kids in the same age? What does it look like? And then do we see something in there that we can create in that environment where we can have, some people call them specialty schools, some people say magnet schools, some people, where you say, I saw about 200 kids in this whole process that I think were interested in STEM, or some would say STEAM, put the arts in there, early. What does that look like? Like, we can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so one of the things that, and our VP brought it up, and I'm glad he did bring it up, is around the construction, is that it takes time to plan all this stuff out. And so we wanted to be a little bit more proactive in this approach. So thank you for finally getting that done and bringing a recommendation. I actually support the recommendation because it puts us in a place of being consistent as long as we're doing this work. If you've been in the district for at least over a decade, you would know we haven't had our buildings worked on in the last 30, 40 years. And so no telling what they see when they open up those buildings. But at least I know the instruction is going to take place, and with minimal interruption as possible, we'll get through that year. And so I appreciate that. So with that being said, action item, approval of relocation. District improvement. I really wasn't going to bring it up. So action items, approval of relocate. No, I'm just playing. I just wanted to see Bill's face. I'm sorry, this is a different kind of board. Like, if you're not, I've been here long enough to know that, and I've been stressed out. I was 409 pounds when I left the last time. I've been here long enough to know that if you do not take care of yourself and you sit up here and you bottle all this in and just be mad for no reason and not have communications or think about anything that's going to happen, you will have some health issues. And my promise to myself is, when I came back, if I was to ever come back and get back on the board, and the board says you're going to be the board chair and you get this responsibility, that I would not be as stiff at these meetings, and I would not allow people to turn this into some kind of like me against you and just start dropping just evil, just thoughts and just, it was just crazy. So if you've been around here long enough to know, it's okay to smile. It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to say we don't agree. It's perfectly okay. What's not okay is we be angry about it and then we leave out of here and pass it on to our kids. That won't happen. And so we figured we should take that posture first, and that's what we've done. So all the laughing and the talking and the things that you see for us to express with each other, it's really us. So we really ask you, when these cameras are not on, to come to board governance so we can, be a part of the conversation. Don't just come here and get 3 minutes, because people really don't look at it. They really fast forward it, and then they don't really want to hear it. So don't just come just one time. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's the secret of getting something done. So the next conversation is district improvements. Mr. Beasley.
So we come to you also talked about, I'm sorry, I apologize, I had a microphone.
Was you rapping?
No, I'm not rapping.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a rapper.
I thought he was about to be like, sorry.
No, I apologize about that. So we're bringing about, talk about district improvements, some ideas we had, some things we want to do around the district, such as include district lighting, district painting of the curbs and fire lanes. Also, we talked to working with PAL. We're looking at putting turf into the auxiliary gym at the Pontiac High School. We also just put a new batting cage in with the help of PAL, which is paid for by them, to give us a program we can have our kids inside during the inclement weather to actually practice at this facility. And what we're trying to do is, on our team, is use our facilities for everything we can to get our buildings utilized and have our kids somewhere to go. So one thing we're looking at to bring your attention to discussion, we'll talk to you more on the board of governance, is just discuss with you about improvements of the district that we want to bring forward to you, especially the district light. We've been out with that program already. We've started getting bids for the lighting program. We actually got 3 of them already.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Holcomb, I see you sitting over there, the other partner. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Beasley.
Okay.
Good evening, board. So a couple of the other projects that we're targeting to get done for the summer, so before kids come back to school, are taking our curbs where the buses come into the building, painting those a highly reflective yellow, and then taking the opportunity to put in words of encouragement or inspiration along those paths, painted with a purple background in white or gray lettering, words such as determined, clarity, presence, curiosity, challenge, mindfulness, diversity, confidence, commitment. We have a list of about 30 of them that we'd like to add to the curbs. Just as a sign of encouragement for the districts. It's pretty low-hanging fruit to do that. The other thing is within the school buildings, adding what we're calling Phoenix Flight Project. So the inspiration for this, if you think about, and I don't know what it's called, but behind you on the wall, there may be a set of angel's wings. That's the common thing that I've seen done, where people take selfies in front of angel's wings. So we took that idea, made it our own kind of, and do it with Phoenix wings. So we have these placed throughout the buildings where kids or groups of kids can come in and take some pride in their building. We can have verbiage behind it. Again, that says things like Phoenix Nation, those types of things. I think kids will enjoy that. At least that's our goal, is to have them do those selfies. We can add some hashtags that they can post the pictures to, so we can share throughout our social media. Additionally, a stadium light show project. So currently our football stadium, which was done a couple of years ago, had a new LED system put into it. There's an upgrade to that system that allows us to control the lights up on the poles individually. So most recently this was done at Comerica Park, University of Michigan Stadium, Michigan State University Stadium. It gives us the opportunity to, when there's a score, we can change the lights up when kids are entering. We can do that just to jazz up the the lighting there, we can tie it into or synchronize it to music. So that's a pretty cool little package to be able to do that on our level. Finally, we have lobby display project. So adding 85-inch displays into the lobbies of all of the buildings. Most of them now have a small 30 to 45-inch display. The ones in here are 70 inches. So, add a few more inches around all of the borders of these, and that would be the display within the building to show daily events, what's going on the lunch menu, different things that are happening within the building, highlighting student achievements throughout the day, in addition to ribbon board displays, we'll call them. So vertically 2.5 foot wide, 5 foot tall specialty displays that we can use for events when they come into the building. When parents come in, we can direct them, follow the signs down to different hallways or events that are there. Thank you for your time.
All right, we had a deep dive discussion around this at board retreat, so I just wanted to bring it back up again. We'll actually have the final numbers at board governance next week, right? That's what we're counting on. And so we'll begin to have all the work done, and this work should be done before the start of school year.
That's
that
correct.
makes sense. So any questions, again, to anything that they've stated?
Just comment.
Go ahead.
Also, one of the things that we discussed is to ensure that not only on the inside and the outside, that the community will be able to see what we've been doing with the bond money that they voted on and how the improvements are enhancing our buildings for our children. Listen, kids love it when things look good and they're part of it. And this gives us the opportunity to showcase our children. There's some message boards in here that we'll be able to use, not only here in the district, but with our partners, to be able to showcase our children, what they're doing in the school, and give them messages on what we're doing. I think that's highly important, because when kids see these things, right, and in the right frame of mind, they have a tendency to want to do better because they appreciate it for them. It's for them. And so to show lighting outside of the building. Everyone doesn't go inside our schools, but we ask everyone to be a part of voting for a bond. So we want those people who just ride past the school to be able to see what we're doing to enhance our buildings because of what they did by voting to get this bond for our children. Wait till you see how it looks. It will be exciting. And when it comes to the lighting in the field, some people say, oh, that's sports. We can use this lighting to showcase our children doing homecoming, showcase our seniors in all sports, soccer, football, when they come out. And it's just something special when you bring your parents out on the field for homecoming and those lights are just flashing on you. It's going to be wonderful. Can't express how great this is going to be. So we want everyone to, when this thing start taking place, by the time next school year come in, visit our schools, go inside the lobbies and see how beautiful they are, and take a look at our buildings, because I think that's important. And the kids are going to love it when they come back. They'll be surprised, and trust me, they're going to love it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We'll do approval next month.
Yeah, it's,
Let's put up for approval. Huh? They had it up for approval. They had both for approval.
they had no fun. Yeah, well, we're not, yeah, he hasn't had the final numbers.
So we good. I'm just saying it was up for approval. Let's read the agenda.
You scared, go to church, man.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. We're good to go.
All right, so again, we want to approve these at board governance, and making sure that we have all of our numbers together, because I want to make sure that by the time we set this approval, it's done at the same time we finish WHRC.
Thank you.
Ain't it?
I wrote it. We're good.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so We're going to move down to approval of, action item, approval of the relocation of Rogers to Owen and relocation to Harrington to Alcott. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Get a motion?
Did we get a motion?
I said, we need a,
So that wasn't me.
you're right. Okay. We need an approval of relocation of Rogers to Owen and relocation to Harrington to Alcott.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by trustee Gross, supported by trustee Davis Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith? Yes. President Garrett?
Yes.
VP Gross?
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry?
Yes.
And Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Okay, thank you. We are down to communications, petitions, and delegations, and so, I'll handle it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so, I know what we used to do in the past. We have policies strictly forbidding negotiations across the table for employees and even us. So you heard me pause when it came down to having any discussion around any items that may affect our teachers union, because you don't want to kind of have that ambiguity out there, right? So in the past, it's been allowed to go back and forth and people violating policies and play politics and go through that whole thing, and that's just not something that we are choosing to do. And so with that being said, I read the topics that's presented here today, and so I'm not sure who Ms. Ridley is. Candace, I think I know Ms. Candace Ridley. And Mr. Paul, it says Sandy or Sonder? Sandy? Okay. Both have union topics. And so because I don't want to assume, so I'm going to ask at a point of privilege, are you union employees and do you work for the school district?
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, there is a date that you have on the calendar with the board's attorney for July 30th to have any discussion around the PEA discussions, or it says teacher respect or contract. So at this particular point in time, I would have to direct you to the attorney to have whatever discussions that you will after this particular meeting. But if it's around contract, which it states here perfectly clear that it is, and PEA discussions, that's handled with Mr. Seeger. So I wanted to publicly put that out there to make sure that, so you're not, we want to hear what you have to say, but we can't violate our own policy allowing it to happen. In the past, it's been done that way, but we're just choosing not to do that. I value who you are and what you do for us way too much to play a negotiating or start a game of political posturing, if that makes sense, from either end. And a lot of times it's not from the speaker sometimes it can come from the dais, and I just respect what you've done too long to allow that to happen. So if there's any time, if you two want to get with Attorney Seeger afterwards, then we'll be glad so, and you don't have limited to 3 minutes to do so, okay? Okay. We're going to move down past that. There were no other comments or discussions around that. Those were the only two that we have, so if you could put those into the notes for me, I appreciate it. If we're going to move down to board comments and announcements, again, we'll start with Trustee Bowman. And Mr. Seeger, if you can make yourself available for them, I appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
This was a great meeting. Good night.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to take a point of privilege. So it was something that was not on the agenda, but I'm going to bring it up at, I put it in your packet, and it was around a contract for mechanical outstanding invoices that I wanted you to see. And it was an issue that came up as it relates to one of the bond folk who worked for a previous contractor and now works for the current, but yet made I wouldn't say an inappropriate comment, but made a reference to almost like a work stoppage, which is illegal. And so we set a tone of making sure that folks who did the work in our district get paid for doing the work in our district and move forward. So I wanted you to see that, and this is something that will be coming back in our board governance, okay? And it was the two the 2 sheets like that. And then upon this meeting, another contractor had called. And so to the public, so we're all clear, we moved from one contracting service to another contracting service as it relates to the bond projects. Our teachers and our staff, and specifically our teachers, were very inconvenienced during this particular bond project at the beginning. We take the onus of that, and that's why we're going through the process of getting information out a little bit earlier, and our administrators about moving things around. And then there were some things that just was not done properly that we feel that should have been done better, and we paid for a service that we didn't get in the end, and so we're helping to correct that. So that was the FYI. That was at the bottom. Thank you, Dr. Hannah, for bringing that to my attention. Now, closing comments. Trustee Bowman.
This was a great meeting. Good night.
All right. Trustee Kraft.
Yes, it was a great meeting. I can echo that. And I would like to say, before I didn't get a chance to say, to congratulate the 2 bus drivers that were here. I know the responsibility and all of the safety that you have to have. I was a previous bus driver. And Gwen and I started pretty much around the same time, because I started in 95 with her. And I wanted to congratulate her, because I know exactly how hard she works and how dedicated she is to her job and to her craft. And just as well as she's working every day that she's out there, you can see her walking on period, getting her exercise. And that's one little key thing we know about Gwen right there, Shaquana. So I like to thank them for their hard work and dedication, for her and Mr. Brown. And thank the Qs for coming out and doing what they do. And I said the Qs. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee David Smith.
So I wanted to echo what Trustee Kraft said, but also we got to remember that our bus drivers are the first faces that our children see and the last. And sometimes, and I know as being a former bus driver as well, is that we have to go beyond the call of duty sometimes, because sometimes those parents aren't out. I've been on that bus to 8, almost 9 o'clock at night, trying to make sure that our students are getting home safe, because sometimes they're put on the wrong buses. Sometimes drivers call off in the afternoon, so you have to pick up those routes. So our drivers go through a lot that what our parents and staff doesn't know that they're doing out there in those streets with those babies. So I wanted to congratulate them again on a job well done. It's not an easy task for them, and I'm just grateful that they're taking pride in their jobs. Also, I would like to thank again the Omega Psi Phi and also the Delta Sigma Theta sorority for their continuous support for our children as well as our community. And I wanted to thank our staff, our teachers, our parapros, our whole district, because it takes everyone to be able for us to have a successful school year. And there's a lot of our staff, not just teachers, not just principals, but all staff that I've seen myself go beyond the call of duty, and I thank you. And just like our sororities, I see you guys in our district doing things inside and outside of the district, and that's why I said I really thank you all for all that you do. Our parents, our family members. This was kind of a well, it was still a great school year, but we had some things that we had to go through inside and outside of our district, and it took all of us to be able to get this school year complete, and we're almost there. And I just want to thank everyone who has helped us in this process. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Trustee Terry.
Keep it short and sweet. Once again, a very good meeting. Thank you everyone that did come out to support, and I want to say once again, continue the good work, and we appreciate all that you do for those that got recognitions tonight. And also want to thank Delta for coming out and providing some snacks for us. We appreciate that. It was a long night and a long day for us too, so appreciate that. And let's continue to work and continue to push forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dr. Hannah.
I have nothing extra to say in addition to what my trustees have said. So again, I just thank everybody for their support.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, sir. Real quick. Again, thank you all for your presence alone says a lot. We're near the end of our school year. Our next board meeting, school will be complete. So I say to every member of the school district, stay on task, but have fun and enjoy these last few weeks of school. Let's get through this, get through the summer, be refreshed, and come on back next year, start all over again, and let's continue to do it right. And you're the right people to do it with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're still going to, we may not have as many school board meetings, but still tune in to our social media pages and specifically Facebook, because we'll start doing president corners and trustee corners and still being a lot active there, getting information out and things of that nature. So we may be officially shut down for about a month and a half or so like that, but we still have to get the business of the district done, and that's about the best way we know how to do that. But of course, you can always inbox us or email us, and if you have any questions or anything like that as we're moving forward. With all the technology that we have right now, there's no need for us not to communicate. One ask that I do have is that we continue to be in this posture of having information and wanting to get things out. But if you have in this particular unit, as far as, since you guys here in the audience, if somebody can be a part of some of our committees and board governance and things of that nature, to help us make some decisions. It's not always the surveys. Every time we throw a survey out there, we got 600 and something employees. We get like 200 and some of them back. We're really serious about what needs to happen. And so, ask your colleagues to trust you to be sitting on one of these governance tables. It happens in the evenings, like we work in the morning, and sometimes they happen at 6 o'clock. But that's what we're asking, and we're asking that because we need it. You know what I mean? Let's not wait till we have to, have a conversation that carries on, and all we had to do was ask a question at a table, right? To make sure that we need to do what's in the best interest of our students. So thank y'all again for being here, everyone for being here. Mr. Bless you. Madam Secretary, we'll get a motion on the floor to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
I just want to make sure we had a motion. Moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Gross. And again, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our Facebook and social media pages. Dr. Hannah, roll call, please. Thank you.
Trustee Davis Smith. Yes. President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
And Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Our meeting is adjourned at 8:05 p.m. Thank you. So I don't know if she wants to talk to you or you.